Hi everybody, Paul here from Hill Country Rings, and today going to be making a ring from the deck of the Battleship Texas. Got some actual wood from the Battleship Texas, and it's already been stabilized. Did that in a previous video, and we're going to go ahead and make a ring out of it. So let's head to the shop. Now the Texas is the only surviving battleship to have fought in World War I and World War II. But unlike the other battleships that I make the rings from their decks, like the North Carolina and the New Jersey that have teak decks, the Battleship Texas has always had longleaf pine for its decks. I guess because that's native to Texas, so they wanted to use some native wood. I don't know, but it's always been longleaf pine for the wood decks. Now these decks were replaced in 1960s when she became a floating memorial and museum, and then they realized what a bad idea it was to take off the wood decks, so they put new wood decks back on, and then those wood decks came back off when they've been replaced. And so I think this is a piece from that. So I don't think this is actually war heritage wood, but it is wood that was on the Battleship Texas. It was actually mounted on the Battleship Texas for several years. Probably all through from I think the 90s through probably about 20 years it's been on. So anyway, these are pieces of the wood deck, and I've stabilized them in resin. So even though they're pine, they'll be nice and solid, and should make good rings. So let's go ahead and we'll put this guy on the lathe and flatten him out really good on both sides, and we will bore him out for the ring core and go ahead and mount that. I measured the ring with my digital calipers, and it's 23.6 millimeters. So we got a 23 millimeter Forster bit. I'm going to go ahead and route this guy. We're still not fitting just right in that hole. It's a little bit small, so we're going to use our sanding jig here. All right, let's clean the core and the ring blank with denatured alcohol, and then we'll mount them with the 2-part epoxy. And we always clean the ring blank first so that it has time to dry. Let some of that, make sure that alcohol dries off. All right, we just let that dry overnight, and then we'll come back and cut them on the bandsaw, sand them down, put them on the lathe, and do the shaping, sanding, finishing, the whole bit. So just want to make sure that this two-part epoxy is fully cured before we start doing anything like that. All right, the two-part epoxy is dried and cured for that Battleship Texas ring. He's all mounted, and now we just need to cut him out on the bandsaw, maybe sand him close to round, put him on the lathe and shape him, do some sanding, and then do the finishing. So let's go ahead and get that started. All right, the main event. Let's do some hand sanding. Gonna sand these both sides till they're flush with the metal. All right, we got them all nice and flush on both sides. So we're gonna go ahead and clean up the inside. Like got a little bit of glue still there, but then we'll put them on the lathe and get them all shaped. All right, here's that Battleship Texas wood ring, and it came out looking spectacular. I mean, this wood really surprised me, but came out very nice. So if you would like a ring made from the deck of the Battleship Texas, the New Jersey, the North Carolina, Major League Baseball bats, the wood from Lambeau Field. I make lots of custom rings from Heritage and Legacy Woods, all custom. And I would love to make a ring for you. So check out hillcountryrings.com. Thanks everybody.